Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to The Champion Within. I'm with you tonight with my friend Israel. He goes by Hernan. He and I used to work together at Lowe's. He left and went to work another job. He came into the store a few days ago and he saw me for the first time in about 4 months. And he couldn't believe what he saw. He really liked the fact that I'd lost all this weight. I had a ton of energy and I felt really good. And he asked me what I was doing. And I explained the carnivore diet to him just briefly. And he said, man, I want some of that. So he's decided that he's going to try the carnivore diet for at least 30 days, hopefully longer, but he's going to give it a 30-day try. He's going to see what kind of improvements it makes in his body and in his overall health. And we'll go from there. But he's agreed to let us track his progress as he begins and goes through the carnivore diet. Ladies and gentlemen, meet my friend, Hernan.
Hi, everybody. John, thank you for having me in your program here in YouTube. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. So tell us about yourself, Hernan. Tell me who you are and how you got here.
Well, I'm a guy originally from Managua, Nicaragua. I'm a Latino, like you can tell by the hair, and even the people think I'm Mexican. But I'm from Nicaragua, Central America.
Sure.
I came here in 2005 in the United States, and then I got my resident in 2015, I think, something like that. And during that time, I used to work for the food or restaurant business.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started working like in maintenance. And then during the pandemic, it was a hard time. There was no jobs available. I used to work in Amazon too at night, which didn't help because we gotta be over there at night, or sometimes it changed the time to work during I think we start like at 3 in the morning, get out like at 12, something like that.
Right.
And then I went and worked in Lowe's. All right.
Right.
That's when we met.
That's where we met.
I have the pleasure of meeting a lot of good people in Lowe's.
Sure.
And then finally, one person, likes the way how I approach people, and he gave me the opportunity to work in an elderly community.
Yeah.
And that's the job that I'm doing right now, maintenance.
Okay. All right. So you left. When did you leave Lowe's? It was about 4 or 5 months ago.
I left Lowe's in April. That was in April. Yes. Yes.
All right. And we've seen each other a few times, but you hadn't been in a while. Or if you have, we missed each other. So when you came in, was it last Thursday or whatever? You came in, and I remember you stood at the end of the aisle where I was working, and you just stared. And I thought, well, is he going to say something? And then you realized it was actually me. And what was your reaction when you saw me, having not seen me for a while?
Well, John, to be honest, I was amazed because you look more energetic. I see you moving better. I remember they used to limp a little bit, like
Right.
when you used to walk. And you and me, we were out of shape. So, or maybe we have the spherical shapes. So we are like, right.
Down instead of straight up.
And when I saw you at the beginning, I didn't thought it was you. I saw a younger guy over there at the back. You hide, and I'm like, I wonder if this is a new person doing John's job, because I assume that you maybe move, from the job that you used to have. So, and then I was like, is he John's? Hopefully he don't freaked out because I'm staring at him. You know what I mean? Like, but I couldn't believe it was you. And then when I recognized you, I was amazed of the changes that you have done, and it got me curious, and I was like, that's my friend John, let me ask him what he's doing, because he looked better now, he looked more energetic. So I was like, I was curious.
All right, so tell me, now we're talking about you doing this for 30 days. Are you on board? Are you committed for at least 30 days to try this?
Man, I already started on Monday. I started eating
wow.
just meat and drinking water, meat
Awesome.
and salt. I already did just beef, and also one of these days I did chicken because that's what I found out at that moment. But I trying to fight with carbohydrate, like the rice. As you can tell, me being a Latino, so we like rice and beans, plantains, and from the country that I come, we do everything fried. All right, everything has to be deep fried. So we fry the rice, the beans, plantains, and I can tell you, like we use like 3, 4, 5 carbohydrates at the same time in plate.
Right.
Like we can have rice and beans, plantain, tortilla. Um, we can have little protein. That's something that I noticed with us, the Latino
Yeah.
community. We less meat, but we eat a lot of carbohydrate. Like
Is it possible that a lot of Latinos, and especially South American countries, eat a lot of rice and beans because it's inexpensive compared to protein? And there's just not a lot of, I mean, people really aren't wealthy, and some people are, but I think especially Latinos in America gravitate towards that because it's more affordable, especially if you have kids. You're trying to feed everybody, and meat is so expensive, so you can get the rice and the beans and the tortillas and that stuff maybe a little less expensive than having protein, as your primary source of calories. Is that fair?
to tell you the truth, John, you hit the spot.
Yeah.
That's the reason. We are in a third world country, right? Nicaragua. But back in the 80s, we have the blockage because they were communists. My country was communist,
Sure.
and we didn't have access to eat like meat and stuff like that. I
Right.
remember there we have a sign on the number of family member, a quantity of food that we can eat at that
Oh,
time.
wow.
And of course, over there we lack the jobs. We lack a lot of opportunities because the country don't help that much with their
Right.
economy. So mostly, it's easier to eat rice and beans than finding to buy meat. Just
Right.
to give you an example, let's
Sure.
say you buy here the cheaper part of when they are in specials on the supermarket, they
Right.
can be $5 to $6. So let's say the same over there, but we live with a $300 at that time, $300 salary a month.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
And that doesn't, and we gotta pay bills too, like
Sure.
everybody.
Yeah.
And so our way of eating is not that healthy. And also, even though that we can go to the markets over there, they will call it mercado, they
Mhm.
sell vegetables, a lot of vegetables, but you gotta go early in the morning to get the fresh ones. Otherwise,
Right.
during the day they get spoiled and they don't taste that fresh. And it's a country that is like 110 uh, Celsius,
Mhm.
degree, so it's
Yeah.
hot over there.
Sure.
So food tend to spoil faster. We
Right.
don't. Some families don't have refrigerators at
Wow.
back in that time. Maybe
Sure.
right now the economy is better. You know what I mean? Uh, but at that time, I remember we learned just to eat rice and beans. There is a joke over there. We say, "Okay, what you eat today?" And we say beans and rice. And then what you have for lunch? Rice and beans. And what you have for dinner? And we call it gallo pinto, which is the mix of put them together, fry them
Right.
together. You
Mhm.
know, it's kind of like this food that the Cubans eat. It's the same,
Right.
rice and
Sure.
beans.
So
So
you came here to America, you said when in
5,
2005. So
yes.
I know you're about 46 years old, right?
I'm 46. Yes,
So most of your life, that was kind of the norm, right? The rice and beans, beans and rice, plantains, different
yeah,
vegetables that you could get them fresh.
yeah,
So it's going to be a pretty dramatic shift, as you already know. You started already
yes,
going from that, and you've developed habits your whole life over 46 years basically. So
yes.
do you anticipate any struggles doing this way of eating, just from a purely mental standpoint?
I mean, it's challenging. Like I don't miss too much the rice and beans, like fried plantain,
Mhm.
fried cheese. Like those are my weakness.
Yeah.
And since it's being fried, it's not healthy for you. You know what I mean?
Right. What do you,
And
what do y'all fry, what does Latino, what do they normally fry their stuff in? Is it vegetable oil or is it lard or tallow? What's the normal
it will be
substance
corn
that you would
oil.
use? So
Corn
like
oil.
vegetable oil, corn oil.
Vegetable oil. Yeah.
So you may not know this, but as you go forward in the journey, you'll learn that vegetable oils like corn oil, canola oil, things like that are the most inflammatory things you can put in your body.
Okay.
A lot of the disease processes from cancer to arthritis to dementia, things like that, have now been traced back to what they call seed oils, or basically vegetable oils. They're extremely inflammatory to your body. So my first piece of advice going forward is avoid those like the plague. And I think when you start cutting out seed oils, the vegetable oil, corn oil, you immediately will start to see that the pain, you have some arthritis pain, I think you told me, in your heel and in your foot, you'll see that go away pretty quickly. So I would just, try to rely on air frying. I bought an air fryer. You can get them, for $59, $69 at Walmart. And you can still get crispy, like your chicken wings and things like that in an air fryer, which uses no oil. And then if you cook things, if you can get some tallow or just some lard, something like that, and cook it in that, you can still fry things. You just have to get away from the breading and from the seed oils. But air frying, I've fallen in love with my air fryer because it gives you that crispy crunch on the outside of your meat, whether it be a steak or chicken or pork. But it gets away with all the seed oils. It does away with all that. So that's one thing I think you can do going forward pretty easily and save you some money too.
Yeah, right now I'm grilling, and putting in a pressure. How do you call it? Cooker.
Pressure cooker. Yeah.
And that's the way how I'm eating right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about what your typical meal has been pretty much your whole life being a Latino.
Yes.
So, and then we talked about, about the carnivore diet. Do you know anybody else, or have you ever met anyone else other than me that's done a very low carb or carnivore type diet?
To be honest, the first time that I hear it was when I was watching on YouTube a video with this psychologist. He's very famous.
Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
And it caught my attention because then the one who was interviewing him was Joe Rogan.
Right.
And then he said, let me try it. And then he made a couple of videos of him, eating the carnivore diet. So it brings to my attention that he was talking, in this case, Mr. Peterson, he was talking about arthritis,
right,
depression. And I remember when I saw that show at that time, we have COVID. Mm-hmm. And, even since COVID changed a lot of our habits, being outside and stuff like that, we had to be inside the house. And, it was hard, So I get into that depression state, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
And
it was easy to do. I think a lot of people did that. Maybe some didn't recognize it, but I think literally millions of people around the world probably fell into that depression just like you did. I think I did too.
Exactly. So when I hear him, and at that time, I was diagnosed with arthritis. So it was like something that clicked, but I didn't follow. All right. I didn't follow. I just saw the video. And, at that time, it was a time like everybody was talking. And, sometimes when you listen too many people, at the end, it becomes a noise. So in reality, you don't have, your mind's not clear. You know what I mean? You hear
exactly.
But I remember all the good things that he say and how he feel when he was doing the carnivore diet.
Right.
And it caught my attention, but I didn't get into too much into it, But when I saw you, I like, and you told me about it, I remember that moment, and then I was amazed to see how energetic you were that day,
Sure.
And something that I know for a fact is that when you feel like something's changing your life and you want to share it with as many people possible that you can do, and that's something that I, I always encourage people to do. And at the same time, I feel grateful that, you share that with me. So I'm trying, I'm going to try, and hopefully I can go more than 30 days.
Oh, yeah. I think at the end of 30 days, when you look different in the mirror, your wife will see you differently. You'll feel better. You'll have energy like you wouldn't believe. And the pain that you're experiencing in your feet, because you're on your feet, you're a maintenance guy. You're on your feet. You're up and down ladders. You
Yes.
you use every muscle in your body on a daily basis to do your job, to feed your family.
Yes,
And
sir.
if we can make that something that doesn't really even catch your attention, you have no pain, no arthritis, you don't get sore. I mean, you're just going to be that much more productive at your job, around the house. And it for me, because I'm 10 years older than you, you're 46, I'm 56. And I can promise you, I have never, ever, ever, I didn't feel this good when I was 21 years old. I mean, it's almost too good to be true, but it's not, I promise you. But if you'll give it an honest 30 days, at the end of the 30 days, you're going to want 30 more days. And then you're going to want 30 more days. I'm at day 130, I think 128 or 130 right now. In my life, just from 100 days ago to today, it's like I'm a completely different person living a completely different life. I'm happier. I'm healthier, obviously. To tell the people what I did when you walked up and we figured out who each other were. What did I do?
You did 30 push-ups.
That
I was
worked.
scared. I think they're gonna fire you for you doing that.
I was trying to demonstrate to you just the difference in
Yeah.
because you saw me before. Hernan and I worked together for a while, and the thing that kind of brought us together as friends. One, he's a fantastic guy. I love him to death. But we both got COVID, I think, on the same day.
Yes.
And it was a running joke that he gave me COVID or I gave him COVID. So we always teased about that. But fortunately, we both, had COVID and got over it and did well. But this is going to be amazing. I'm so happy that you're going to let me and my audience follow your journey. It's going to be great. But let's get back to some questions.
Sure.
Tell me about your family. I know you're married and you got a son, right?
Yeah, he's 13.
13.
He's 13. Yes, I have 3 daughters, 2 stepsons that I consider my sons too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
And
me too. I have 3 stepkids that are my kids. Yeah.
Yeah, my kid. We work together, my wife and me, on raising these kids.
Sure.
They're amazing. I love them to death. My wife, she always support me in everything that I try to do. My mom, my mom live with me.
Oh, wow.
That's what we say. Sometimes it's usually with your mom, but you say my mom live with me.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. So, and all of them are like very supportive to me, and since they are important to me, I'm trying to make changes so in that way I can live longer.
Right.
And not just me. I'm trying to see if that work with me. Trying to help my mom too.
Sure.
I think I mentioned to you that she have a kind of like a heart disease.
Right.
What was the name, John? Help me with that.
Atrial fibrillation.
Exactly. So
Yeah, where her heart gets out of rhythm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So right now
I suffer from the same thing too.
Okay. So she's under blood pressure medicine, the heart medicine. She also drinking something that helped her to get rid of the water or liquid inside her body, because she's taking a lot of water.
Lasix or furosemide.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So, and then if I see that she can see results of me, it might encourage her to try, Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I can tell you from personal experience, plus I have a really good friend, a YouTube friend of mine named Brian. His channel is called Wick Goes Carnivore. He suffered from atrial fibrillation, and that's the reason he started the carnivore diet. He wanted to try to treat his atrial fibrillation because he didn't want to have an ablation, which is a surgery that I had where they basically kill part of your heart to try to settle it down. And his doctor worked with him. He had a doctor that was very supportive of the low carb or no carb diet, and he no longer has AFib. He's they don't really say cured; they say in remission because you don't ever want to say cured. Yeah. But I know from the time I started this, July 1st until today, I've had exactly 1 episode of AFib, and that was early on. And I was trying to do 30 push-ups probably before I was ready, and I put myself into a little case of AFib. It lasted about 3 or 4 minutes, and then it went away. But from then to now, I've had 0. And just to give you an example, I did a 5K today, and then I walked 2 more miles, and then I came home and cut the grass, and then I cleaned around the house, and then I filmed my video, and now I'm on here with you, and nothing. I feel fantastic. I feel like I could go all night. So I'm not concerned about the AFib anymore. I'm not cured per se, but if I don't have it, then what's, I don't worry about it because it's not a part of my life. Now,
Yeah.
your mom, this is something that probably could help her, but if she's on blood pressure medicine, if she starts doing this, because what most people are finding, if you have high blood pressure and you start a very low carb keto or ketovore or carnivore diet, your blood pressure comes down naturally. So she needs to work with her doctor if she decides to do this to make sure that her blood pressure doesn't go too low, because sometimes they will actually decrease your blood pressure medicine or stop it altogether once you cure it with a carnivore diet. But we'll worry about that in the future. Hopefully she'll see what you're doing, and she'll be, taken like you were taken by how quickly and how radically you're going to change, that you can do that. Do you have any medical problems? I know you said you have some arthritis. Do you have any other medical issues, high blood pressure or sleep apnea?
I do have high blood pressure, sleep apnea, of course. I think they come together, once you
one leads to the other normally.
they're gonna come together. And I started having this heel pain, and of course I think it's for inflammation. Even that I walk, I will say I walk 3 to 5 miles a day.
Sure.
Going to work from one building to the other one, and I don't see any. You know how people say, "Hey, when you walk, you lose weight, or you keep yourself like." But I haven't noticed in me going down on my weight, so I look more inflamed than So maybe it was because the habits of my food, of my intake on the food.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So, how much do you weigh now? I know I wouldn't ask women that question, but we're guys. I'm going to ask you, what do you weigh now?
Right now, I'm 225 pounds.
And your how tall?
I'm 5'7".
5'7". Okay, so that's probably pretty average height for Nicaraguan Latino, right? You tend not to be really tall, so you're not like.
To be honest, I think over there, once that you pass 200, you are obese. Like over there, we see you like an obese person. So I'm past 20 pounds more than 200. So I'm more like the man. You gotta watch out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But my goal, it will be maybe 175. If I can lose 50 pounds, it will be great. I know it will help with my health.
Right. So even if the inflammation goes away, or as the inflammation goes away and you drop all that weight, that's so much less stress on your knees, your lower back, your hips, your ankles, your feet. I mean, it's a snowball effect. Once one thing starts getting better, it seems like everything begins getting better. So that's something I want to encourage you to look forward to. It's going to happen if you can be disciplined as you can be. It's going to get really good really quickly. I mean, if you do this for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, I mean, I'm pretty much just past 90 days and I'm 118 days in, whatever. And within 30 days, I felt good. Within 60 days, I felt great. And now I feel like Superman. I mean, I truly am the best I have ever been from a health standpoint right now. But have you thought about how you're going to handle temptations? That rice and beans and the sweets and everything is probably still going to be in your house, right? Plus, you'll drive by convenience stores, restaurants every single day. What is your plan? How do you plan on maybe dealing with some of these temptations that are going to be there 24/7, actually?
Part of my plan will be drink more water. I barely drink water. And one of the reasons was because before I used to retain a lot of water.
Right.
So, and then I stopped doing it. But since I started this, I know that one of the things that will help, it will be drinking water. I'm going to try to eat in a different time than the family. You know what I mean? Because when they are together and they're eating, you feel like watching both of the plates and you see the difference. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like I say, I love fried plantain. They call it tostones, or I love them. I love fried cheese. And my mom, my wife, they know that's my favorite. So they might don't do it. I ask them, please don't do that. Don't cook it. And then if I see them eating it, am I gonna go for a walk? Maybe if I feel more energetic, like you you were telling me right now that after work you come, I see you doing this recording, so it means you have a lot of energy. Me, when I come from work, I'm a couch potato. So I go on the couch and I want to just stay like that. So maybe I can do a walk, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Go with my son, my 13-year-old boy.
There you go.
Park, maybe, and try to find something else to do.
Sure. I will share one thing with you. You talked about, you come home, you feel like a couch potato and you're inflamed. So for every 1 gram of carbohydrates you take in, your body holds 4 grams of water. So if you stop eating carbohydrates, you're going to start peeing like you have never peed before, because all that fluid, that puffiness that's in your face and your neck and your chest is going to leave your body. That's going to happen quickly. So you may get up a couple of times at night to pee. You may have to pee more than you ever had to before. That's just inflammation leaving your body. And that, water weighs 8.3 pounds per gallon. So if you pee out 2 gallons of water, that's 16 pounds lost. So that's why salt is so important. This is not a low salt diet, because when you pee out and you sweat out the fluid, you lose salt too. So you have to be liberal with the salt. Now, if you continue to eat carbohydrates, you need to limit your salt, because remember, salt draws in water, but so do carbohydrates. If you don't have the carbohydrates, and you could start having leg cramps and muscle cramps like you wouldn't believe. So don't be afraid of salt. Salt is your best friend as you start this diet. Okay. That's just my advice on that one.
Okay.
So another thing with temptations, and to your point, I had to do that too. My wife is not on board. It's just me and the wife. My children are all older. They're grown and gone. They live all over the country. And we have 4. And she is not on board with this at all. Although she does look at me differently, because I look so radically different than I did, 100 days ago. But she doesn't want any of this. She wants her sweet tea. She wants her, all the things that she's had her whole life. So I tend to eat at a different time than she does. And it's kind of sucks, because as empty nesters, and she works and I work, that's kind of always been our time to be together and have conversation and relate. But I wasn't strong enough initially. I could probably do it now, but initially I wasn't strong enough to resist the temptation. I'd reach over and grab something off her plate, or I'd put some of whatever it was on my plate. So I had to kind of distance myself from those temptations at my own table. Okay. Now, when she and I go out to eat, I'll just order a hamburger and not get the bun. Like we went to Wendy's the other day at the drive-thru, and she ordered, the chicken sandwich, French fries, and a tea. And I got a Baconator, triple Baconator with 3 patties of meat, the cheese, and the bacon. And I just threw the bun away. I didn't have any ketchup, mayonnaise, none of that stuff. And I ate the bacon, and I ate the burgers, and I ate the cheese. And I was fine. She was fine. And we got to sit down and have a meal together. And that felt great. It felt great that I could stick to my plan and still, fellowship with my wife. And my wife is my best friend and has been for over 30 years. Yeah. So it's really nice that I'm finding ways. We go to a steakhouse. I just don't have the bread. I don't get the salad. Just bring me a steak, and I'll put butter on my steak to make it a little juicier and get some more fat, because this is not a low-fat diet. As I said earlier, it's not a low-sodium diet. It's not a low-fat diet either. Carbohydrates give your body energy. Protein does not. So if you don't get carbohydrates because you're doing this diet and you don't get enough fat, you will be so tired, you will be exhausted and not know why. There's no energy in protein. There's 4 grams. But anyway, protein has 4, but fat has 9 calories. So carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram. And calories are what you get energy from, right? You get energy from calories. So carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram. Fat has 9 calories per gram, which is why I have so much energy. My body runs off fat. Your body takes fat, your liver does, and turns it into something called ketones. You've heard of the ketogenic diet, or somebody who's ketogenic. So that's the term is ketones, and it's your body turns fat, your liver does it, turns it into something that your body can use as energy. And it's called ketones or ketone bodies. So when you eat fat, you have so much more energy than if you're eating carbohydrates, because it has 9 calories per gram versus 4 calories per gram, which explains why I have so much energy. I mean, I did 2 5Ks today for fun, and then I came home and cut the grass. I mean, and the thought of me doing a 5K 125 to 130 days ago was laughable. and I did 2 of them today just for fun. So
Okay.
that's because of the difference in energy in fat versus calories. And that was a long way to say this is not a low-fat diet. If you have some chicken usually doesn't have a lot of fat in it, especially the white meat. Eat the dark meat, eat the skin, and learn how to eat butter. And when I say eat butter, I mean take a stick of butter and eat it. I know it seems kind of crazy, but so I had a half a stick of butter today with my steak. Well, I actually had a hamburger patty, and I ate a half a stick of butter and eggs. I eat a lot of eggs. Eggs are kind of a good food for the carnivore diet because they're not that expensive. You can get a dozen eggs for $1.12 at Food Line, and you can have all the eggs you want. You can have as many as you want every day. On this diet, this is also not a restriction diet. When you're hungry, I want you to eat. Do not be hungry. Other diets, and I'm sure you've done diets in the past, right?
Yes.
I've done diets in the past, and they want you to starve yourself.
Yeah.
No, you can't starve yourself forever. No one has willpower till they die. This is a diet that requires no willpower aside from avoiding the sweets and the carbohydrates that you've been eating for 46 years. But if you're hungry, I want you to eat. Hamburger, the fattiest, get the 70-30, get the 73-27, the cheapest hamburger meat you can buy. Get steaks, ribeyes, get all the fat. Ask the butcher if you go to the butcher not to trim any of the fat off. You need that. And then butter is a great source of fat. Don't get the unsalted butter, get the salted butter. And so it's basically a meat and fat based diet. And I know it sounds crazy. It sounds so different from what we've been taught, right? I mean, you've been told to avoid fat, do low fat, don't have saturated fat from animals. It'll kill you. Well, I think I'm living proof, and tens of thousands of other carnivores are living proof that that's 180 degrees backwards. I mean, I have literally taken 30 years off how I feel, if not more, maybe 40 years off how I feel. And it was because I eat enough fat and I eat enough protein and I eat 0 carbs. So that's all I got.
I remember one time that I was in the hospital with my mom, and then a doctor come and he say, "Stop eating meat. Don't eat meat."
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You know, and
well, I would encourage you to look up Dr. Anthony Chafee. I'll send you this. I'll email this to you in a little while. He is a neurosurgeon, and he's from America, but he's over in Perth, Australia right now doing an internship or fellowship over there. And he has been carnivore for 10 years. And this guy is 40 years old, and he looks like a 18-year-old bodybuilder. And he eats no carbs. All he eats is meat, and he's a neurosurgeon. There's a doctor named Philip Ovadia. He's in the Chicago area. He's a cardiothoracic surgeon, and he's carnivore. And he wrote a book called Stay Off My Operating Table. And he is a big YouTuber like I am. And he says, if you eat this diet, you will never, ever, ever need his services. And he's a cardiothoracic surgeon. He works on hearts every day. He's done 10,000 cardiac bypasses. All right. There's a Dr. Ken Berry. He's a family doctor in Nashville, Tennessee. He's a big proponent of this. He calls it the proper human diet because 150,000, 200,000 years ago, people didn't have carbs. We didn't have agriculture. We killed something and we ate it. That's how we got to be here. If it didn't work, our species would have died off, right? You wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. We would have been extinct. But we're still here, and we're the very, very top of the food chain because we kill things and we eat them. So
now people kill it for us, and we get into the supermarket.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you see all the cancer and the childhood diabetes, all this stuff is going wrong with the West, especially. I don't know how it is maybe in South America, but in the West, in America and European countries, people are getting sicker and sicker earlier and earlier. They did a study. I think it was the Mayo Clinic did a study. I may be wrong on this, but I'll fact check it. But several years ago, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, they took random samplings of 8-year-olds all across the country, poor, rich, middle class, kind of a really big sample group of 8-year-olds. And 71% of them had high blood pressure at 8 years old. What we're doing cannot keep going. Look at the Alzheimer's. Look at the autism. There's a doctor, I think his name's David Diamond. He's down in Florida. He's working with a carnivore diet with nursing home patients who are institutionalized because of dementia and Alzheimer's. They're in Alzheimer's units. He's put them on this diet, and he's seeing Alzheimer's not only decrease, but actually get less. So these people are getting better. We're beginning to learn now that the inflammation that's in all the processed food that we eat and the seed oils like corn oil is causing all these cancers, dementia, autism. It's killing us. And this is a way to put health and vitality back in your life by not, there's no magic in the meat. There's no magic in the eggs. The magic is not eating the other garbage, but you have to eat something or you'll starve to death. So when you replace I call it garbage with a C, garbage, with the proper human diet, which is animal products, then the magic is you're not poisoning your body anymore. You're feeding your body, which gets back to something I said earlier about this is not a low calorie diet. This is don't count calories, don't count macros. I don't care how much protein and fat you have. Try to get more fat than protein, but it's simple. You cook some ground beef or steak or some salmon or some shrimp or pork or chicken. You eat it, and that's it. That's the extent of this plan. That's all it is. Drink water and use salt. It can't get any easier. I fixed my meal today. I had 2 hamburger patties and a couple of fried eggs, and I washed one frying pan. I washed a plate, a fork, and a spatula, and I was done with the dishes. So when you go to the grocery store, you go straight to the meat department. You get whatever meat you want. You go grab some eggs and some butter. You pay and you're gone. This will buy you back so much of your time of your life that it's amazing because it's so simple. All right, one last thing, Israel, Hernan. Are you excited about this? How do you feel? Are you excited going forward?
I am. To be honest, I think I'm gonna put more effort what I used to do it before. More when you see results is when you really get into it.
Right.
So even that I started right now, I start with the passion, the emotion. Let's go, let's do it.
Right.
All right. And I bet you, as soon as I see difference, am I gonna enjoy it, and hopefully I can stick to it for more than 30 days, like we say, and
Sure.
and more for the point of view of getting healthier. I want to live longer. I want to enjoy more of my family, the time that I can have with all of them. The way how I'm going towards how do I say shorten my life, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So what you will do in order for you to save the life of the one that you love. What
Exactly.
you will do anything.
Right.
Well, more. What about you? What about your life? I watched one of your videos when you were talking about the time that you were depressed at some point, that you were wishing to die in order for you to claim the money from the insurance. And that made me think, you know what I mean? Because I've been there too. I bought life insurance for me and my family. And during that time, I was thinking it's better if I will be dead, you know what I mean? So they can have this money. But, because we have those ups and downs on life. But at the same time, if I'm the kind of person that I know if I can work it out and getting better, I can do it. You know what I mean? I will do it. Yes.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, I hope you'll stay in touch and kind of keep me updated. And if you don't mind, maybe once a week or once every other week, we'll get together and we'll do this, and I'll post the video so that the people watching you'll be a great example for other people, especially Latinos. I've noticed in this community, the carnivore community, there's a lot of guys that look like me, white, middle-aged guys. We make up the majority of this community. I'm seeing more and more black men, black women. There's a couple that do a video channel called Keeping Up with the Browns. And they're both carnivores, the husband and wife. And they're amazing. But, you don't see a lot of African-Americans and a lot of Latino Americans because it runs so counter to what their culture has always been.
Exactly.
But the culture has always been high blood pressure, diabetes, and early death, right? Yeah. I mean, that's just it kind of goes hand in hand. Even Native Americans, I'd love to see more Native Americans because the Native American population, the indigenous people, they're on these reservations, man, their sickness rates are through the roof when it comes to diabetes, high blood pressure. The problem with diabetes, and this will absolutely help target diabetes. Diabetes is, high insulin. Insulin is what does so much damage. So if you can reduce the carbohydrates, your insulin level will come down. But what you see with diabetics, now, I was a paramedic for 20 years. I worked in the medical field for 20 years. And I've seen so many people who are diabetics, who are your age or my age, or even younger than both of us, with their left leg amputated, three toes off the right foot amputated. They have to have their kidneys out, or they're on dialysis. And it's, you're basically walking towards death. And all that is the result of high insulin. High insulin is the result of too many carbohydrates. I mean, it's so simple. So when a doctor says, stop eating meat, you need to eat more rice and beans or whatever, they're giving you advice that could literally kill you. Literally.
More vegetables, yeah.
Yeah.
He was saying more vegetable, less meat.
Yeah.
And he don't mention that much the carbohydrate, to be honest.
Yeah.
I remember that he said the meat, any meat, he say, is bad for you. So don't eat it.
Well, everything I can tell you, because I'm also a certified personal trainer. You may not know that, but I'm a paramedic. I'm this close to being a nurse, and I'm a certified personal trainer. I can tell you that everything your body needs to survive and thrive, every nutrient, micronutrient, every mineral, everything you need to thrive and survive is in red meat. Everything. You don't need anything else. You can survive off red meat from the day you're born to the day you die. You would be fine. There is no metabolic pathway in your body anywhere that requires one carbohydrate. It is not necessary. Your body doesn't need it. You don't need vegetables. People say, yeah, but what about fiber? If you don't eat vegetables, you won't poop. Well, they're right. And I don't poop. I only poop maybe once or twice a week. And I know that sounds like too much information, but think about it. Everything I eat is so nutrient dense that my body absorbs it. It ends up in my bloodstream. So there's no waste. If you eat a big salad, you're going to go to the bathroom, right? Because it goes in your mouth and it goes out the other end because your body didn't absorb it. Everything I eat gets absorbed into my bloodstream. The vitamins, the minerals, the protein, everything gets absorbed into my body. It gets the building blocks for my body to, get stronger as I am. So there's no waste. So you'll spend a lot less money in toilet paper going forward. I promise you that. However, that brings up the next point. Initially, because the bacteria that's in your stomach you've been eating rice and beans and this kind of stuff and plantains, all this stuff for 46 years. So the bacteria that's in your stomach is designed to break all that down, right? Mm-hmm. So when you stop taking that in and you start eating a meat-based diet, that bacteria is going to die off because it's not getting what it needs, right? It has to be fed too. Well, it's going to die off and new bacteria is going to grow in its place. This is called the microbiome or the gut biome. This is the stuff inside your belly that breaks down all the food and helps it get to where it needs to go. During that process, you may have some diarrhea. You may have a lot of diarrhea. You may have to get to a bathroom quickly. So I would advise, if you can, while you're doing this, know where the restroom is and don't stray too far from it. For most people, that lasts a week to 10 days, sometimes 14 days. I had 4 episodes when I first started this. Once I was in Sam's, my wife and I had to run to the bathroom, and I just barely made it. A couple of times at work, fortunately, the bathroom is, it's a pretty big bathroom. There's a lot of stalls, so no problem there. And a couple of times at home, I had to run to the bathroom. But once I got past that stage and my bacteria and my gut reset, like now I say, if I go to the bathroom twice a week, that's kind of normal, and I'm okay with that. It's nice not to have to think about that. Also, I don't know if you suffer from this, but when I was about your age, I started getting up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom to pee. Do you have nighttime where you have to get up out of bed and go pee at night?
To be honest, no, John. No.
Okay, well, you're lucky.
No.
But a lot of guys, middle-aged guys, do. They find that their prostate begins to get swollen or inflamed, that they end up having to wake up 2 or 3 times during the night to go to the bathroom. Thank God you haven't experienced that yet. Doing this diet correctly, you never will, because I never get up to go to the bathroom. I used to get up 2 or 3 times a night to go to the bathroom. And so I always sleep on the side of the bed closest to the bathroom. My wife and I go to a hotel. I have to be closest to the bathroom. And because I'd get up 2 or 3 times during the night to go to go pee, and that doesn't happen at all anymore, ever, which means my prostate is healthier now than it was 125 days ago. That's so great. Just another benefit,
Benefit, yeah. Like I was saying, I don't drink too much water. That's a change that I'm doing right now. And that maybe was the reason why I didn't go to the bathroom during, at night during the night.
Could be. Yeah.
But now that today I have that I start peeing a lot. You know what I mean? Because I'm using salt, mostly because the high blood pressure I wasn't using salt. Now I'm start doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, I just encourage you. If you fall off, we call it falling off plan. If you cheat, we call it falling off plan, and you start eating a lot of carbohydrates, you have to back down on the salt. The salt draws in water, and so does carbohydrates. So this you have to be meticulous about this. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't drink a ton of water if you're not thirsty. Now you may want extra at first because if you quit carbohydrates, you're going to pee a lot. So obviously, really ramp up the salt and don't be afraid to drink water. But I don't drink nearly as much water now as I used to. Think about it. I don't eat carbohydrates, so my body doesn't need as much water. For every 1 gram of carbs, your body stores 4 grams of water. If you don't eat any carbs, you simply don't need water. I have 2 of these a day, and that's about it. Sometimes not even 2. So I don't drink a lot of water. I did initially. I had to because I was having diarrhea and I was peeing. So, you had to put some of it back with salt and in your food. And I use electrolytes. There's electrolytes in my water. It's called Element. I think you told me you'd heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put 1 element in my water. So I have 2 elements a day on days when I go walk. Like I said, I walked about 6 miles today and I cut the grass. So I've had 2 elements today. But yeah, just if you're not thirsty, you don't have to drink. If you're thirsty, drink water. But don't push water because that's not great for your kidneys either.
What about fruit? I love fruit. Fruit.
Yeah. You know what fruit has in it? Sugar.
Sugar.
Glycogen. Yeah. Inflammatory stuff that's going to hinder I don't eat any fruit. I used to love fruit too. I loved apples. I love Honeycrisp apples were my thing. And I love grapes and I love blueberries. And I just laid off those because I don't love them as much as I love feeling this good. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
I do love fruit. And if I ever go off plan, hopefully it'll be with an apple or some blueberries. And I've noticed a couple times that I've cheated or I've been off plan because, I'm a human being. You're a human. This is going to happen. I failed the temptation. The next day, my hip and my knee hurt so bad I couldn't stand it. It came back within 12 hours. I'm like, I'll never do that again, And so, yeah, I steer clear of the fruit because there's so much sugar in the fruit. And I don't care if you get sugar from fruit or sugar from the sugar bowl at the table. Your body treats it all the same. It's sugar. It raises your insulin. It spikes your insulin, and it causes inflammation. I don't care if it comes from fruit or bread or cakes or Little Debbie's or whatever. Your body treats it all the same. It gets broken down into its simplest form inside your body. Even fructose from fruit, your body breaks it down and then it spikes your insulin, which causes inflammation, which causes you to not lose weight and to not feel good. Basically, my thought is if it doesn't come from an animal, don't put it in your mouth. I love those rotisserie chickens. Have you ever had one of those rotisserie chickens from like Costco or Sam's or Harris Teeter? I love those things. And I'll eat the whole thing. I eat the whole thing by myself. And, they're like $5. So it's a cheap meal. And then I usually have half a stick to 3/4 a stick of butter to make sure I get enough fat. But I love those things. So that's my treat. I call that a treat. A cheat is eating a whole rotisserie chicken. And I don't eat the bones, but pretty much everything but the bones. So, so recently I did try some peanut butter. My wife keeps a lot of peanut butter in the house. I used to eat peanut butter every day. And I got, kind of anxious about something. And I had a spoonful of peanut butter. I'm here to tell you, it tasted rancid. It tasted horrible. There's nothing wrong with the peanut butter. My taste buds have just changed so much that I said, "Oh God, what was I thinking? Why would I even want that?" And my wife said, "There's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. What are you talking about?" And to me, it tasted like someone had pulled it out of a garbage can. It was horrible. So this just goes to tell you the things that you like, the things that you're addicted to now. If you'll give it time, you won't want that. Your body knows it doesn't need it and it won't crave it anymore. But it does take time. You're trying to break 46 years of habit in 30 to 60 days,
Yeah.
Well, we've been going for almost an hour here. Do you have any questions for me? Anything you want to talk about or ask me?
Yes, I would like to see if you can send me some links on books or maybe something that I can be reading and knowing more about this.
Okay.
Because like I'm saying, if I go to the internet, the same way how you find the good things about doing it, you're going to find the bad things that people say that is wrong doing it.
Right.
But I think when you are informed and you read about it and you take an informed decision,
Right.
continue doing it, that
Sure.
helps also to continue the journey. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not like I need something to be convinced for, no, because I'm gonna try anyway. But
Sure.
I have questions like what I can eat besides just the beef, and now you mentioned cheese, you mentioned butters, two of the things that I love. Those two things go together with
Mhm.
me: the butter and
What was that? Yeah, you broke up a little bit. What were the two things?
cheese and butter. I love when I cook with butter. I love it because
Mhm.
food tastes
Yeah.
better. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I eat butter. I eat plain butter. I eat a box of butter a week easy. I just eat it because I love it. And it's probably this, and I get just the regular butter. I get the Costco brand. I try to get the grass-fed butter. It's probably the healthiest because those cows are the healthiest. And it's the sweetest thing that I eat now. And it's not real sweet to the person who eats carbohydrates, but to me, it tastes like cake because that's the sweetest thing that I eat. And I love it. And I may eat too much of it, but I love it. And cheese, I'll have cheese on a burger occasionally, but I don't have a lot of cheese. I use it more as a topping, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Some carnivores do eat cheese, but there's a histamine reaction when you eat cheese. When I eat cheese, I get a runny nose. It happens almost immediately. It's not so much that I won't eat cheese. I'll avoid it because it's just a tissue and I'm fine. But I notice when I eat cheese, I almost immediately get a runny nose. And there's always proteins inside cheese that cause a histamine reaction for the vast majority of humans. So I would use it sparingly. I'm not saying don't eat cheese, just don't eat cheese by itself. Eat it with a burger or on a steak or with some chicken. Eat it with some other stuff so that it's not, the main thing of your meal. So do you have any parting thoughts? We talked about me sending you some links that help you do some research, and I'll send you some links to some doctors and some research and some good reading, some books that I recommend and some other people who have been doing carnivore for a long time. I'll send you all those links. But do you have anything you'd like to say to the audience as we move forward? And once again, I want to thank you for allowing us to follow your journey. I didn't start my YouTube channel until I was well into it, but it'd be nice to follow you along and see how you progress. And hopefully we can give you some love and support along the way because the community really helps.
Okay, yeah, that will be great. Like I say, thank you for helping me in this journey. Let's call it like that. And we have been friends before this, and I know this ain't gonna change if I stop doing it or not,
Right.
because you are a good person, and like you say, you have a place in my heart too. So hopefully, this work out. And once that I see the improvement, believe me, I'm gonna be happy, and I always gonna have the thoughts that you helped me, to get there. Um, I'm, I'm gonna not just try. I'm gonna see if we can keep coming and going on this. I know I'm gonna see results because I already seen you. You know, people lead by example. Lead by example, so
Right.
others follow. And then since I'm seeing you, all the things that you're doing, um, I know it's not a cult. So people get scared like, oh,
Right.
it's like a cult. Like no, it's more like a genuinely people who are interested on the good for others. That's when they start doing these kind of things. And
Right.
I'm being amazed of the amount of energy that you are putting into this. And at the same time, I want to encourage you to keep doing it. Keep talking to other people because you don't
Sure.
know the people that you can reach out and maybe touch them to try to do a little bit of change. Maybe they just need the encouragement from
Right.
somebody outside their family, or outside
Right.
their friends. So I'm very excited, like I say, and I will continue doing and progressing in this carnivore diet. All right, and and like I say, I appreciate the fact that you shared that your story with me.
It was my pleasure. And once again, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing us a sneak peek into your life, telling us about yourself, your background. You're probably the only person I've ever met from Nicaragua. So hopefully sometime you can teach me more about the culture and about where you're from. We talked about that some when we worked together, but it would be nice to spend some time together and get to know more about your background and how you got to where you are now. And just look forward to watching you. I mean, you said you come home from work and you're basically a couch potato. What if you come home from work and challenge your 13-year-old to a game of basketball and you kick his butt? That can really happen. Unless he goes carnivore, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Hernan, I thank you so much, my friend. It was great seeing you again. I love you to death, man. I'm so excited for you and your family. This is going to make a big difference, and hopefully you'll inspire others within your community, the Latino community, plus just the people that you work with, and you'll see great improvements in your life on a day-to-day basis. And I'm excited for you.
Thank you, John.
All right. Well, folks, that's it. We'd like to welcome Hernan to the family here. He's going to be part of the Carnivore family. He'll probably get to watch other YouTubers and get to meet other people. That'll be awesome. Hopefully, maybe he can be interviewed on other channels as he does his journey. That'll be great to watch that too. So, Hernan, you have a great night, my friend. It was good seeing you again, and we'll talk again soon, okay?
All right. Thank you, John. Have a good night, too.
You too.
And thanks your wife for me.